way to start a video. Man, that feels so good ripping around on the Super Duke R. Gosh, that was fun. Well, in today's video though, we're going to be talking about, could you daily ride one of these KTM Super Duke cars? Throw away all your cars, go sell the Honda Civic, go sell the Toyota Camry, whatever your daily is, just throw it away. Trade it in on one of these bad boys. Could you daily ride one of these? Well, in today's video, we're gonna look into that. Alright, so when I think of a vehicle that you're gonna want to daily, there's probably 4 important categories that you should consider. And so the 4 categories we're gonna consider for this video is, first, reliability. You don't want something that's breaking down on you on the daily. You want something reliable. So we're gonna explore that. The second one that you got to consider is definitely comfort, because you're going to be spending a lot of time, hours in this vehicle, putting down a lot of miles, so comfort's definitely a big consideration. And then the third one that's also, I think, a really important one is just how economical it is. So how much does it cost to fill up? What type of gas mileage does it get? How much does it cost to own, maintain, things of that nature. So we'll look into that. And finally, the one that honestly is for me the most important, maybe not for the average person, but I think your daily should have some spark, and with that I think, you know, fun factor. Your daily has to have some sort of fun factor, because I mean, you're spending a good chunk of your life in this daily, so why would you want to be in something that's not fun at all? That would make pretty much no sense. So fun factor is definitely something to consider. And yeah, so let's jump right into the video. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to talk about with the KTM Super Duke R is reliability. And while I don't have a ton of miles to say what reliability is like in the long term, there are consumer reports and a lot of data out there that I'm going to probably throw up right here that kind of show in general how KTM is. Now, compared to a lot of the Japanese manufacturers, Honda, Yamaha, Kawasaki, KTM I'm pretty sure is pretty behind. I think they're more towards the bottom of the list. So that is something to consider if you're going to be like, I want to daily one of these things. Who knows how reliable they really are. I've yet to come across anything yet, knock on no wood, but knock on something. I'm sure I will come across something, just because that's the nature of these exotic high-end bikes. But reliability, I'm pretty sure the Consumer Reports had this one more at the bottom of the page than a lot of other manufacturers, so that's something to consider. And another thing I think that goes along with reliability is just how you maintain it, how often you do oil changes, getting the proper services done, and also the way you ride it. I bet you that's pretty important. If you're constantly pinning it to redline every time you take it out, well, maybe the bike's not going to be as reliable as someone who rides it pretty normal like this and then occasionally does stuff like that. So that's definitely something to consider when you're talking about a daily, is how you're going to use it and how that's going to affect the reliability. So I think overall the bike's probably going to be pretty reliable, being a 2020 newer bike, but those consumer reports do kind of show a little bit of a trend. Alright, the next thing to consider when on a daily is comfort, of course, because like I said, you're putting in a ton of hours on this machine, so you want something comfortable. Why wouldn't you? Man, this thing rips. But what's amazing about this bike is, for an OEM seat, I swear it's like the best OEM seat. How they built it is just fantastic. It's really a great seat. Seat definitely isn't the only variable you want to consider when comfort on a bike. You also have to think about variables like the wind. So this bike, being naked, you're going to get hit by wind a ton. So if you're someone who's commuting on the highway for a bunch of miles, 40, 50, you know, you're doing that every day, well, maybe this isn't going to be the best daily. But say you live more in a city and the roads you ride are just filtering through traffic, trying to make lane changes and roads that are slower speeds, but you can kind of punch out of out of red lights and get around cars and stuff, well, this is probably your best choice. But yeah, comfort, I think it's not too aggressive. It's not like a R1, it's not like a Super Sport where, you know, you're leaned over like this. You're just kind of upright. You can just chill, just like any other pretty much standard motorcycle, which is awesome. But then once you know, want to get more aggressive, you can really lean into it and get into it, you know, a little bit. But like I said, the seat's awesome. I like where the pegs are located. They're not like too high where, you know, your legs are cramped up or anything. I'm 6 foot tall and I have great comfort on this bike. And they're not too low where once you're in a corner, you're gonna be scraping peg. It's just great balance. I think overall it's got awesome comfort for the type of performance that comes out of it. So in that category, I think the Super Duke R does pretty good for a daily with its comfort. All right, the next thing to consider is just how economical a Super Duke R is. Well, when you look at it at first, you're like, how could that be economical? You know, for $20,000, you can get a pretty nice daily from Honda or Toyota that you can probably put a couple 100,000 miles on it at least and have AC, heater, all that type of stuff. But is that much fun? It's probably not as fun as this, probably, I would think. But from an economical standpoint, you're looking at probably almost $20,000 to get it. And then servicing, the services really aren't too bad. I think you only have about 3 services. You have one at like 620 miles, one at around 9,000, and then one at around 18 or 19,000. So nice service intervals for such a high performance bike. Now, while there are not too many services up until about 20,000 miles, each one of those services at an authorized KTM dealer, I think, is going to be quite pricey. You're looking at the service hours around here, for like labor hours alone, is like, I think it's like at least $120 a labor hour here at dealer. I don't know if that's normal where you guys are from, but I think that's ridiculous and it should be way cheaper. And that's not considering parts and all of that stuff. So you are going to spend probably, for all 3 of those services, I would say at least $1,000. I would not doubt it. I think the first service is even like $200 or $300, and that's a pretty basic oil change. So ridiculous. Other than buying the bike and maintaining it properly, you have to also consider gas mileage. So I think there's probably Corollas or Camrys out there that are getting better gas mileage than I am. Let's see what the bike says right now. The bike says, go back here, it says I'm getting, where is it? I might have taken that off one of my widgets on the screen. You can kind of customize it. I might have taken it off, but last time I checked it, I think it was around 40, and there's a ton of cars that get way better than 40, so that's something to consider. And you can't just put 87 in it, you know, like you can put 87 in a Civic or a Camry or anything like that. No, this bike is high performance. You got to put performance, you know, premium 93 in it, which gas prices are already ridiculous. So that's something to consider too as a daily. You're going to be filling this thing up a lot because it's pretty thirsty, and the range isn't fantastic. You're realistically only getting about probably 120 miles on a range, maybe even less depending on how aggressive you ride. So yeah, that's another thing to consider dailying this bike. All right, and finally, my most favorite consideration when considering a daily, for me, I think that goes above all of the other factors, is definitely fun factor. I mean, I just don't think, wow. I don't think you're gonna be smiling in your Corolla as you pull away from the light, but you'll definitely be smiling on a Super Duke R. Yeah, the fun factor on this bike is pretty out of this world. I haven't had a single ride on this bike where I'm like, this thing's kind of getting boring. I don't know, it doesn't have a lot of flavor. Nope, every time I ride, it's always a unique experience. It's kind of a supercar in a sense, you know, like a Lamborghini or Ferrari in the bike world. It really has a lot of character, and I probably scared that minivan so bad. Sorry. Hope those kids don't take after me when they grow up. Yeah, but also think about it. It has so much fun that as a daily, you might start racking up some speeding tickets or reckless driving tickets. So I know I'm so nervous. I know it's coming. I'm gonna get one. I don't know when. Hopefully I get it on video. I'm gonna try to chill now. That was definitely dumb. If the cops saw that, they would not like that at all. Wow, it's just so much fun to rip around. It feels like the roads are just like a racetrack and you just want to attack everything, but you know you can't. Yeah, but like I said, the fun factor is out of this world on this bike. You're not going to be bored with it. No matter where you're going, doing some highway runs, doing some around town 30-mile-an-hour roads like this, just cruising around, feeling the air. It doesn't get much better than this. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a ton of fun to make. Love going out here and riding and talking to you guys, making videos. So yeah, give this video a like if you liked it. It lets me know to like keep making content and what type of videos you guys like, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.